Sailesh Ram, Asian Culture Vulture. We're still at the Hotel Mariott and we're at the Film Bazaar and I'm with Vani Tripathi. Vani, welcome to asianculturevulture.com. It's good to see you again. We were in Cannes 2 years ago and we chatted then. It's great to catch up with you. So what brings you to Film Bazaar?
Well, I had one session and a masterclass. It's very interesting that this year Film Bazaar has brought in a new element, which is entrepreneurship and skill development. What tends to happen is that when we look at the film industry, we are all a conglomerate of so many skills. But those skills go uncelebrated because we never look at ourselves as skilled specialists. We look ourselves as artists and creative people and so on. So one session was with Vishal Bharadwaj and the producer of Bahubali, the film Shobu. And we were looking at how youngsters, entrepreneurship and skill converge together when it comes to filmmaking and cinema. And it was a very interesting session because we had an absolute full house. A lot of young filmmakers were in the audience yesterday. And one of the big takeaways from the session was that when a film comes together, there are quite a few people who have their absolute firsts. Somebody will be writing for the first time, somebody will be producing for the first time, somebody may be acting for the first time on film. This is almost like a startup. I actually say it's a serial startup. You know, films are about, almost the continuum of so many skills, coming together. And another takeaway was that young entrepreneurs are now filmmakers, very much I think they are entrepreneurs, are experimenting with absolutely esoteric subjects, They have shed the baggage of the traditional mom and pop shops of the Indian film industry. They are very honest and intrinsic to their backgrounds. Children from non-metro cities, young filmmakers, men and women are coming out, and that's the change narrative. And the other thing was today I did a masterclass with some fantastic students, absolute full house on acting. But I rather almost turned the workshop into an actor's workshop, like a theatre workshop. So they were equally involved with me physically also within the workshop space. And I probably crossed the boundary of just being a masterclass and just, ranting about myself.
Do you remember when you started out and what were the challenges when you started out as an actor?
Loads of them, Sailesh. Interesting question. You see, I came from, I was a Delhi-bred girl and the only child of two academic parents. So more than my parents, who were tremendously supportive, I started doing theatre when I was 8 years old. I probably did my first professional play when I was 12. But the community of educationists and academics were like, oh my God, I mean, okay, this can be a hobby. This cannot be a profession. So those days, acting and actors per se, despite the fact that the Indian film industry, the Hindi film industry was so popular and so many big stars, it was always seen as a distant truth. It wasn't seen near home. I mean, your neighbor's girl and your best friend's daughter cannot be an actor. That was one challenge. And the other challenge was gender parity. I mean, I still feel in theatre, we've been extremely equal about protagonists and roles, but the gun-toting heroes of Hindi film cinema, with women being arm candy and they taking on 35 goons to save Babe in the Woods. I think those days from then to now, it's fantastic, the kind of revolution. We are absolutely at a cusp of change with the new narratives that we are able to build up today.
So I was here for a session and they talked a lot about India's soft power and the fact that a lot of filmmakers are and audiences are very receptive to Indian production. How do you think you can translate the talent and the ability of filmmakers into productions that travel the world, like Bahubali? When we came to the Royal Albert Hall and we were there, we were lucky enough to have some time with the actors, and that's a tremendous film that's gone out of India. But sometimes I hear the criticism that the government and the politicians don't really understand the soft power that India has through its film culture.
Not at all. I think this is the most collaborative time that we are going through within the bazaar. You will see so many government initiatives, so much film subsidy happening, so many film commissions. I mean, there are many more states who have film development corporations today, and the film facilitation office, which has been set up by the government of India, is entirely. Christopher Nolan was just here, and he shot in Mumbai and in various other parts of the country. I mean, at the end of the day, We are one of the largest film producing nations of the world.
The
How can and how can we ever say this is not a soft power, it is the power? And cricket and cinema is religion in India. I think also, these conspiracy theories that we hear about, the government is meddling with people's lives, why is it getting into, entertainment arts? Rather the opposite. The government absolutely has a role, because independent cinema can only thrive with government support all across the world, including countries like France, UK, and many other European countries have film commissions which get very big grants from the government. And people who don't have the 100 million club to write, those filmmakers need to have a voice. And I think these kind of collaborations is what is the independent voice of cinema. It can't be undone. And at the end of the day, what do we pay our taxes for? Our soft power is our culture. It's the art. It's the storytelling. We are a land of kathavachaks. We are a land of storytellers. I mean, if we will not be telling our stories, and if we will not be telling as many stories as the kind of diversity that we are, who else will?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani.
Thanks.